Grand Rising. Don't mind the hair, it's shower day. And also when I washed it the other day, it was like right before bedtime. It was when I had the mineral bath. And it like dried really weird. But on a good note, my hair is like getting pretty even. Oh, look at this little guy. Except for that piece. I had a lot of breakage when I did my own locks a couple years ago. I absolutely love them, but they're a lot of work. So when I have a budget to like get them done, although Jonathan said he would help me, so I could take him up on that. But anywho, I'm filling. I was just gonna start talking to you, but then Nikita brought me their waters to fill. So that's what I'm doing. And I like to reuse these little juice cups because they're perfect for non-spill. But then I don't have to feel bad about throwing them away eventually because they're not like an actual cup with a lid, you know? And I'm using my Nikken water. So Nikken, basically I got it because I trusted the woman who shared with me about it. I lived in Florida, and the point of it is that they add, you're on my stove and you're falling. She shared with me about it because the filter, it like replicates how the water filters when it goes into the earth. And so it has all those layers, and then it has mineral rocks in the bottom where the water sits, so then it's remineralized. So that is why I love it. And I need to get a new filter soon. But I was just going to tell you about our day plans. So Jonathan is at a meeting, and we didn't go because the girls stayed up late because they waited. Look at this, guys. They waited up for him to get off of work so they could hang out with him. Neil fell asleep, but then they got to do a magnet set with him. So that was fun for them. But they were up till like 11 o'clock. We don't necessarily have a bedtime. That's one of the things that I love about homeschooling or unschooling, is because we get to all still take care of our bodies while in the midst of our daily life, which fluctuates with Daddy's schedule. So yeah, it just allows for us to still rest and go to meetings at different times, and for them to have time with each of us and both of us and all that good stuff. So they were up till 11, and they just woke up and are playing babies, and Neil is splashing his water. Neil, you can bring me your water if you're done. And Nikita's gonna read a book to them. So my main question is, and if you have an answer to this question, I would appreciate you sharing, because I could take all of the suggestions possible. But my question is there something that you do or say that it has turned into like a signal to you that you're in your will and not God's will? So for me, yesterday we were getting up to get ready for a meeting, and we actually woke up at like 7:15 because I also don't set alarms unless like absolutely necessary. So it was 7:15 instead of like 7:30, 7:40. So I was like, ooh, we could actually be on time to a meeting. Look at this girl, not in her robe. Get out of my camera and go put your robe on. Go to the side. Grab your robe, girl. We were on our way to a meeting. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, so we weren't gonna be late. And I was so excited, and I was like, I got this. I was like, I was getting everything ready, like getting us breakfast and everything, and telling people what to do, okay? And like, if they would have just listened to me, then everything would have gone how it should have, and we would have been out the door on time into the meeting with time to spare to find seats and not disturb and blah 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 blah. Like, I had it all planned out, and I was like kind of getting frustrated, and I've come a long way, so I wasn't like losing my, but I was like getting frustrated. And then there was like this moment of acceptance as we were like actually about to get out the door to put our shoes on, because we're not wearing shoes in the house. And I like like knelt down to put Neil's shoes on, I think it was, and I was like, when I tend to, when I finally accept something, I'll like, instead of feeling like angry, like the true feeling of like just sadness or powerlessness, I should say, comes. And that's like a heavy thing. And so I just say out loud, I was like, I'm like, I could cry right now. And I just say that like honestly, and I'm like putting his shoes on, and that's like, so there's like, I accept it, and then the true feeling of powerlessness comes, and I like let my eyes fill up with tears. And it can seem so basic, this story, but whatever. It's mom life, okay? And then there was that, like that surrender, right? And sidetrack. Also, this could have like turned into a huge fight, like in the previous years between Jonathan and I, because we're alcoholics and addicts, and so we're restless, irritable, and discontent, and we hated ourselves a lot, and so thus that was projected onto each other, that we hated each other. And so like in that moment, like before, like he could have like gotten mad, like, oh, what's your problem? And then it could have just turned into a whole fight, but that's not what it is anymore. And so he mostly just stayed quiet, and we like continued to get our shoes on and get to the car. And I had to work through a few minutes of like wanting to like pout or like start some stuff, you know, because that's like my defense mechanism. Like, ooh, I'm feeling powerless and emotional, so let me like, you know, be rude. But I'm aware of that now, so there's an awareness around it, and so it didn't turn into anything. And we get to the meeting, and it's on fear. The leader reads about fear, and I'm like, oh, it really is just that so simple. Like, everything comes down to fear over faith. He did this thing where he was like, fear knocked at the door, and then faith answered, and nobody was there. And I thought that was so cool. Like, that's like so simple enough that that is something I'm adding to my spiritual toolbox. And so he shared on that. He did the lead, and then I was like the third person he called. And it's funny, I tried to like avoid it because he's like, mom's turn to share, and there's like another mom in the room who I'm supposed to hang out with today, and we're gonna go to a later meeting, which is also why I was okay with not going to the meeting this rising. And so I like waited like 5 seconds before I looked at him, just like hopefully he's talking to her, but he wasn't. And so I shared, and I just shared like that tidbit, and because that like there's this realization that everything comes down to fear or faith, like everything, I think, unless there's something that you can think of. But I feel like so much of it can get complicated through things like psychology, and I'm a psychology major, I have a bachelor's in it. And it can and it's all good stuff, but it can get complicated. And if I just remember to bring it down to like, am I in fear or am I in faith? Am I in fear or am I in faith? Then it could be really simple. And essentially I was in fear that we were going to be late. I was in fear that we weren't going to be on time. I was in fear that we were going to disturb the meeting. I was in fear that by disturbing the meeting, because we have kids, it would irritate somebody and blah, 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 blah. Which there are some people that my children irritate. They irritate me. So, I mean, I know, I get it. But there is a overwhelming love and welcomeness for my family, including our children, at the meetings, which I just absolutely am so thankful for. So, all of that to say, the reason or the thing that allowed me to shift into acceptance of where I was at before we actually left the house was because I heard myself say, like, we're gonna be late, and we didn't have to be, like, if everybody would just listen to me. And when I say that nowadays, I'm like, oh, that's like my red flag, like my signal, like like Neil would go, ambulance, ooh, because that is like a blaring sign to me that I am in my will and not God's will, because I am just a finite little human, finite, messed up little alcoholic human, and God, it is infinite, knows all, everything, absolutely everything. Like, and maybe they were just, in this example, it had to be that way because if we would have got out on time when I wanted, maybe I don't want to speak anything to existence, but maybe something bad would have happened, like when we got into the car. And maybe not, but it's just like something I need to remember is I don't know barely anything. And the main point in my share, I think, was that fact, and that when I remember that I could know and have peace in that we're always right where we're supposed to be, which just means we're always just right on time. So that was like a cool experience yesterday, to kind of have it all sequenced and lined up and the day slow enough to where I could like track it all and really like stamp it in my brain. So that was really cool. So I'm gonna get these little chickens some breakfast, and then when Daddy gets home, we are gonna go to, do you remember?
Target, and get a stroller because somebody has...
Oh, we don't get to share that.
Yes, we do. You said we share our life. Somebody got motion sickness at Sky Zone and accidentally made something up on our shoulder.
Oh, luckily it was just a little bit, and it was like not chunky, but I was horrified. But besides,
Tell them.
You just did. That's enough.
The other part of it. The other part of it.
What other part? Oh, and then I was like almost gonna be like, oh my god, and then the little girl, she was like maybe 10, like was still there like heading to the trash can, and then she saw me like horrified, and I was like, I had to like shift from like, oh my gosh, somebody just puked on my stroller, to it's a child, and I was like, are you okay, honey? And she's like, I just need to make it to the bathroom. I was like, okay, honey. And then when she was gone, I was horrified again. And I had Sky Zone. I keep calling it Rock and Jump because it used to be Rock and Jump, but I had Sky Zone spray it and wipe it. But besides that, I need one because it's old and the wheels suck and squeak, and I need something that glides that I don't have to push. And any pushing that I do have to do, I need it to be like taller because I'm so tall. This one is too short, and so I have to like lean over, which is using this joint and my whole sternum and everything, which is not proper body mechanics. So I need it taller so that I can use my back muscles, but not a whole lot because it'll be new and actually will just roll by itself. And I'm hoping to find one where obviously Renee will sit in the front, and then my sister was telling me about that they have like the ones with the bars on the back, so then if Noah gets tired and she's the middle one, then she could stand on the back, and Nikita might have to help me push because Nikita's amazing at helping me push when we go to do adventures by herself, and she can truck a little bit longer walking, so I don't have to necessarily worry about her as long as we don't go too far. But today, like I said about the friend, we're going to be going to a meeting that is a little bit further of a walk, not too far, but a little bit further. So today is the day that the stroller goes from a want to a need, and that is how we are trying to do our spending so that we can save and not be spending every single penny. And we're doing a pretty good job. So I guess she wants this drink. Okay, I'm gonna get them breakfast.